we're going to call to order Town of Fontana Dam continued meeting Tuesday, November 22nd at call to order 408. All right, we've got John Hodgson. Jordan, your last name again? Varda, that's right. So, myself, Rob Hardy, and Tiffany Duke. Let's see. Approval of the agenda. There's no adjustments to that. I entertain motions on that.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Thanks, Tiffany. All in favor? All right. Approval of the October minutes. I think I wrote these up from last go around, so I say they're good to go. Anybody else has any thoughts or adjustments? Speak now.
Make a motion to approve the October minutes as well.
All right, thanks, Jordan. All in favor? All right, public. Charlie, got anything for us?
Not off the top of my head. I can get you a copy of the paper when it hits the racks. So.
All right, thank you. Have you got utility reports or?
Yeah, I am going to do a couple of first. I get this one. I got some good news.
Okay.
Recognition, yeah, I think there was an award for, I guess it's turbidity, I think. So basically, really clean water.
An award?
Of
Wow.
course, it really helps that we have some really clear, clean water coming in. So that's a good starting point.
Oh, look, it's rain.
It is.
Look.
So it's for 2 years running. It's for optimization of our turbidity removal, which takes out all the cloudiness and the bacteria, anything that, it's not good. I counted them, there were 64 of them awarded this year, but there is like over 500 different water plants in the state. And that's a low estimate. That was where I gave up counting, so it's not an easy award to get. There's a lot that goes on behind it. And yes, you're right, it does say a lot about what kind of water source that we have to begin with, but that water source has always been there. That's where we've always gotten our water.
Right.
So there has been work that's gone into it to adjust it. And some of that was Dennis. A lot of it was our other ORC. Some of it was the one that we no longer have with us. But anyway, that's good. We're going to probably hang it down to playing about it.
Yep.
It's just nice to finally get awarded something.
I saw something that there was like a hiker in Hawaii and he smelled alcohol in the water. He tasted it and it tasted like alcohol. And they did some studies, because there was a place.
A hot spring or a vent or something, or volcanic activity?
I don't know, it looked like a fresh spring, but it smelled like alcohol. But somebody was talking about
Another other thing with the utility report is the collection system update. So, oh Lord, what a headache this has been. It's been unreal. We are going to have to pay the road from the pit stop down to the wastewater plant after everything's done. And one of the things that was mentioned today that I got to remember to talk to them about, whoever Chad gets for paving there, is to make sure that they leave those manholes that are under the road exposed, so that because sometime down the road again, there will eventually need to get in there again. So
It rises on every single one of those.
Yeah. So that I wrote a letter giving permission to Portland Utility Construction to go ahead and get started, knowing that our obligation to DOT requires us to do paving, which Portland does not do. But because that's part of our contract with DOT, or obligation, encroachment obligation with DOT, that will be something that the powers that be, Chad and them, are already working on as far as finding a paving company to come in here and do that. they're getting price estimates from 2 or 3 different companies to do that, so.
So pretty much what, from the road,
Right there at the pit stop down.
yeah, down to the other road.
Which, I talked with Troy with Rural Water about that today, and we're all of the opinion that that's just not right, but there's not a whole lot we can do about it.
Did you ever get to talk to somebody about the upcoming project? So if we spend this money on this,
He said that neither him nor Andrew Russell, which is upper engineer, knows anything about that. So apparently all those phone conversations.
$750 million project in
They said that-
for this whole quarter.
Yeah, I know, but
And that was a high priority section of the quarter. How do you not know about it?
that's what he said.
You don't want to talk about it, that's one thing, but.
But he said he did not know anything about it, and neither did Andrew, that they, that road, section of road was in good shape, that they had done some work to it already, and that it was, in good shape, and that the patchwork that we had done previously was not acceptable anyway. The only reason that it was because it was an emergency situation, and so there you go.
Some of the best
'Cause it had-
patchwork I've seen on any roads.
I know, but he said it's already sunk.
Encountering, okay, it's sinking.
Yeah, it's sinking. And so, we, when I talked to, Portland about it, they were like, well, we can do this, fillable stuff, which is concrete that goes on top of the gravel to keep it from sinking. But, they wouldn't go for that either, because he said there's just too many manholes that we're gonna have to tap into and disturb the road, so. I think that they just figured out a way to get the road paved.
As if the project wasn't gonna cost enough, now they're gonna jack the
Yeah.
cost up on us.
Yeah, it'll be over $1 million before it's all said and done, between the pipe bursting and the repaving. So, but what do you do? I told him, I said, so, okay, let's just say that, the town can't afford to do this, and, we can't get them re-permitted because we can't fix the problem that we have. So then a resort gets closed down, and what's Green County going to do without a Fontana? Oh, I know, but that we can't drop our standards. So I guess they're willing to shut down a whole county to keep their standards in place.
I still don't understand how they don't know about a project that's supposed to be on the books, was supposed to actually be started before COVID. They were supposed to be in the planning phase. I think it was 22 or 23.
I know.
How
He said there's nothing on the books for at least the next 5 years, for at least.
So probably what they're doing then is they know about the project, but they know that it's been pushed back another decade probably.
I mean, they certainly did not. I mean, he flat said, we know nothing of any projects that's going over there. We certainly know the road needs to be widened, but there is nothing in progress or in place or is set in place to make that happen, so.
So we'll do the best we can.
Yeah. So, good news, bad news,
All right,
But we should have work going on down here now.
that's what I was wondering.
I wrote that letter giving and stating, to them to go ahead and, under the contract that we already have with them, and to finish the road, and as much as their contract stated, in preparation for paving, and that we understood our obligation to DOT for that, and that we would submit, or we would request bids for that afterwards, so. They were fine with that letter, and he said he'd have men up here working.
Any questions from anybody on that? The collection system primarily? Or hopefully gonna get I think the plan is to get the section of the collection system kind of up the hill to the pit stop. And I think it was actually, they said, a little bit further up the hill, like turn the corner and head up towards the general store. I thought initially was what was said about that project as far as bursting. Because I think that's a trunk line that's
Right.
continuing to come down from the general store. And I thought it was right around the general store. I think that was gonna be kind of the first phase, and then I think the next phase was gonna be looking at assessing and resolving some issues that would be up in the village proper. I think that was, I was kind of looking at it as at least a two-phase project, but they primarily, collections, the main trunk of the collections going down the road was one of the major issues. I think that's a delivery.
It's called.
It's just,
So what exactly does that mean? They have to pave it all the way down?
we pay both lanes, so if you, just because you might not tear it up all on the road, at the end of the day, I think they're probably anticipating enough damage to the road that they want to
Just to be
comprehensive,
able to
they
get
want a
down
bunch of,
there now with it? Taking over?
wait, when we're done. After we're
After we're
done digging up the road and after we're done with the project and we're at the end of the phase, then we have to pave it, and that's, I mean, it's what, a mile and a half? I'm not sure what it, we're probably guessing at least a million, if not, a third of a million probably. If I had to guess. Have you heard anybody speculate at what a mile of
No,
paved
I have no idea.
road to DOT
I know.
spec would be?
They haven't asked me to like seek out any bids for it yet, so I'm sure it's gonna be a bidding.
Probably we'll have to get somebody to mobilize and bring equipment out here. And at that point, if there's anything else somebody needs paved, I guess that now's the time to do it.
Yeah.
Because then you don't have a mobilization involved in that cost. So that might be a conversation with the TDA or a TDA, or anything you guys want to pay.
All right.
And I don't know how long we have after we finish the project to pay. Was there a specific specification there?
No, he didn't say, but I mean, it's under the assumption that it would have to be pretty immediate. I mean, it's not like we could wait.
I guess my point is if we were gonna be digging up.
We'd
some
want to
roads
get it done
in the
before the
village,
season ever started anyway.
But if we were gonna be digging up some roads in the village and doing some work there, we probably wanna try to complete that work and then do
Right.
all painting at once as opposed to 2 or 3 different sort of episodes.
Right. Well, I'll certainly mention that to
We'll have
him.
to talk about that in our, kind of our choreography.
Yeah. Because it would be good to get everything at one time.
Yeah, the logistics of it. Now that we know that's a need, we'll have to start talking about timeframes. I mean, I guess, who's kind of headed up? Who are you working through with Mitchell? Okay, so it's not Mitchell or anything like that?
No, actually, I haven't talked to Mitchell about it at all. It's been mostly Chad.
All right, any other questions? Good. Moving to the financials.
So we currently, for the town, have $179,714 basically in general funds and $48,669 in the water and wastewater funds. So we have $228,383 currently. So that's better than we've ever been.
Yeah, we're feeling pretty comfortable, at least at the moment. We're getting ready to embark on some pretty significant improvements, but I think the hope is perhaps by next spring, we could at least have our collection system moving in a direction, positively speaking, and hopefully that also means wastewater. We're gonna have to address some issues down there. We've kind of got a plan, a 6-month plan or so for that. And the hope also is, once we can kind of get our collections, wastewater side of things sort of squared away, hopefully we can get around to addressing the water losses on the other side, because if we can address those, we can kind of shift gears and possibly, look more normal from a utility sort of standpoint.
Yeah, because we have, as far as like ad valorem taxes, we have the 3 in the Heights that was annexed in that are seeking to de-annex because understandably they don't get a lot of support from the town other than their garbage pickup and plowing like in winter or something, their driveways and all. So another thing I hadn't realized until I was talking with Meredith today is that with TVA taking over, even though Baker's is the one that's operating it, everything is now owned by TVA. That also took away all of our taxes from within the county, or within the town too, so. We went from having, which never was very much, a little over $7,000 a year, to Coca-Cola, which is $80 a year.
Oh, because it's.
Because TVA pays bills,
owns the-
yeah,
the
and they pay bills to
personal
the county.
property, so they're exempt from having to pay us that.
Yep. Yep. So,
Well, they're getting kind of pull out of their pockets in other ways.
yeah, so I mean, that's true, but you know, it's still, it's like, you know, anytime.
Fix our budgeting, definitely consider that. I didn't really consider that.
I hadn't either, so that is something like, yeah, we're gonna have to make amendments around there and figure that out. But-
So she touched on, Tracy and Sarah and Kelsey have all submitted, I guess, registered letters to, I guess it was through Kevin Corbin's office?
And also, Hawthorne,
Madison
Yeah.
office. So they sent a certified letters requesting de-annexation, so we're assuming we're in the process somewhere on that.
yeah, Sarah Lockett called me the other day, asked if I'd heard anything, which I haven't. And, so I told her though, because this is their responsibility, this is not my responsibility or the town's, it's theirs. I said, you guys need to stay on top of it because.
I assume when it's done, we'll be notified.
I would assume.
This is how things are now, and
Right.
we'll have to make adjustments accordingly.
And I got copies of all the letters from the three, so Kelsey is also seeking to not pay her past taxes. I don't know if that'll fly, but, that's what her letter states, is that she is unable to pay them, so.
We'll see what they say.
Yeah.
I mean, if they relieve us of our duty to collect those taxes, then I don't have a problem with it.
No.
I just don't want to neglect our duty.
No, because that is a legal responsibility that we got, so.
So, one other thing before is there anything else on the financials?
I don't think so, no, I don't think so.
So I wanted to mention briefly, we talked about truck, another trash truck, and I was looking at that. Zell brought that up with, Chad, I believe. or
No, actually Mitchell, and I asked him today if he had heard anything back, and he said he had sent out an email and, he talked to Bucky, I think, about it, but he said that he's come to the conclusion that vehicles through TVA is just a royal pain, and so that probably, not to hold our breath for too long.
Okay.
So I would say that's probably a no-go. So
So we'll probably have to,
go back and, get with the fleet.
contact, yeah, so refresh, so when you interact, and you consulted with somebody on that email? Or-
Well, no, I think you're the one that I haven't done anything beyond what,
I think they sent they sent a reply.
they sent a reply that said that
I
I would be
have not
back,
seen.
would just be back in the office, that following
Did they
week.
send another reply from the lady? Didn't the lady send a reply?
Just that he would be back in, and that this was, that's where you got the link to open up for the trucks that were available was from her, and then,
So we probably need to contact Bahia
yeah,
and ask him, I thought they had told us to go ahead and contact the supplier though, but maybe I'm wrong about that. Anyway, let's.
I'll go back. I just hadn't had time to go back and revisit that. But I'll tell you, this road stuff and all of this wastewater stuff is just, it's been just constant. It has been, and
It probably is gonna be.
yeah, for a while I would say.
For a while.
Yeah, but
But if we can at least figure out what information we're gonna need to provide that, then we can call them and we got a spec and hopefully we can go ahead and get it on board.
right,
And,
because it still may take a couple
yeah,
months to
I
get
guess
it.
it might be March,
It'd be good to get it before the next season starts. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Any questions about the truck or the de-annexation stuff? So we are here, about Jordan, and
It's all about Jordan.
we appreciated having you, as part of the council, and
I wanted to have you a plaque, and I just haven't had time to get it, you know? I wanted to give you something, though, and thanking you, and, you know, something for you to remember all of us wonderful people.
Well, I
like.
won't forget you.
You know, for my part, and I'm sure the council too, we do appreciate all the effort and work you put into here for the last few years, and, you know, I certainly wish you the best, and if you ever want to run for council somewhere else now, you got some background, so,
We've been going out on a higher note than when been
yeah.
Yeah, things were kind of,
Yeah.
have been very tumultuous, it seems like. A lot of turnover here. It's been good. We've actually had a fair amount of stability here with you and John, and then bringing Tiff on. We really haven't had anybody leave us in a while.
Well, other than.
Well, he was never really even here, so I mean,
Yeah.
It was for one meeting.
Yeah, that was, they hardly even knew you.
Having said that, at our next meeting, we have a couple of potential people that we're gonna bring in, so we'll see how that goes, and, you know, we'll go from there. And I know, John has announced his intention, right, in what, March? Oh, okay, so that gives us a little bit longer, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna go rescue people, so if you're ever out in the ocean and need rescuing, call John. 1-800-JOHN. Come get me. So,
So
yeah.
we'll be looking, you know, towards that as well, with some of these moves we're gonna be making. You know, first, I guess we're gonna have to appoint, him.
Yeah.
Deputy Finance Officer.
Finance, at the next meeting, so,
Mhm.
we're gonna have figure out what shoes, we can fill temporarily, you know, we may, ask John if he can do one of those things for a little bit. So, all right. Well,
Yeah, I need somebody close by, you know, because that's always been the hardship, is getting checks signed and paying bills and stuff, and sometimes it just seems like you go forever or nothing, and then boom, you know, and it's like, yeah, so.
Well, officially, thank you so much for what you've done for the town. We certainly appreciate it, and, you know,
Learn all the things about water and
Probably far more than you ever wanted to know, right?
water and waste than I ever
Yeah.
did before.
Yeah,
and some electricity.
yeah, there was some electricity thrown in there too. Just for good measure.
All right, so on that note, we're moving to the Christmas party discussion.
Yeah, and if you would like to come to our Christmas party, you'd be more than welcome to come. We are doing the $25 gift again for the Christmas. If you want to do that, it's going to be so it's going to be Tuesday, December 21st, and that'll be after our TDA meeting. So I'm thinking maybe
6:30.
6:30. I think we were running a little bit behind last year, so let's say 6:30.
We were gonna try to do it after the town council meeting, but I think
We got groups
they're
here.
gonna group in that kind of whacks out that whole week pretty much.
Yeah, and I think they've got banquets and different things. So I know they want every hand on deck that they can get up there to work. So that was one reason for that. So does anybody have a conflict with the 21st?
Just let you know if I'm gonna come or not, for sure.
Okay.
I didn't think there was anything, but you know, hopefully Candace doesn't have anything lined up for you.
No, it should be good. I'll put it in there, so if something comes up, we'll be here.
Yeah.
We just had a phone call.
Huh?
It seems like we just had a phone call.
Yeah, I know. It does.
And they were talking about, I guess instead of doing a buffet this time, they were talking about maybe doing a plated meal with a couple of options.
So yeah, that was another thing. Do you guys? I mean, I haven't said anything. I haven't talked to anybody to get anything set. But of course, John, we know with you, you're eating probably sweet potatoes and that kind of stuff. But we can do a couple of like plated options, like steak and maybe shrimp Alfredo, or what was the other one? Maybe just
They do like a cordon bleu replacement as well.
yeah, something chicken maybe is what the other one was. So, or we can do a buffet, or like what we did last year.
We put it out for email. Maybe we work up an email with everybody who's kind of going to be invited.
Okay.
And, you know, since we got enough lead time, and we'll just try to maybe see what the consensus is.
All right. Just the main thing is if you want to participate, and I did tell Kevin about it too, so he knows. You know, the main, and I told him not to forget his gift this year. And we'll play some games again, but I won't do as many as I did last year because I got a little lump. And you keep your mouth shut.
Oh, when I didn't do it?
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is your cross or cross. Yeah, you just blew it across. Well, you can't play that game again anyway. So, yeah, and so anybody that wants to participate in the Chinese Christmas, just make sure you bring a gift. And it has to, like I said, $25 limit, and has to be for male or female. So then, and I'll send out an email to everybody about food choices, whether they want to do a buffet or whether they want to sit down. If we do a buffet, we'd probably just do like what we did last year. We had yesterday. We'll do a meat and then like probably a pasta of some sort. And we go from there.
Any questions about that? All right. Any action items there that came up, Sal, or?
I believe so. I mean, mostly everything's just kind of discussion unless we have something that comes about a closed session. So we do have to go into closed session.
All right. With that, we need to go into closed session, so I'll take a motion for that.
Motion to go into closed session
To discuss personnel.
to discuss personnel.
Thank you, John. All set. All right. All in favor? All right, we're back. Back in open session. Had a good discussion in closed session about personnel. We don't have any action to take at this point in time. So with that, if there's not anything else, any questions, concerns? Then we'll adjourn this meeting at 5:28. Next meeting is going to be December 15th, 2021. We'll be, I guess, installing the newly elected folks at that point in time. So, going to adjourn 5:28.